The Galactic Assembly had ruled the stars for 10,000 years. 12 great species sat on the High Council, and they controlled everything from trade routes to planetary colonization. Earth was new to this assembly. Humans had only discovered faster-than-light travel 50 years ago, and the older species still looked at them like children who had wandered into a meeting of adults. Ambassador Wei stood before the massive circular chamber. Thousands of alien delegates watched her from their floating platforms. The High Speaker, a being made of crystalline structures that shifted colors with emotion, addressed the assembly. His body glowed deep red, a sign of anger and disgust. "The planet has fallen," the High Speaker announced. "The shadow plague has consumed their world. 6 million refugees now drift in space, waiting for a new home. Their ships are failing. Their supplies are running out. Someone must take them." Wei noticed how the other delegates shifted uncomfortably. They were not a powerful species. They were small, fragile beings with 4 arms and large black eyes. Their planet had been poor. They had nothing to offer the greater galactic community. And now they were sick with a plague that could spread. "We propose," the High Speaker continued, his crystals now shifting to a cold blue color, "that Earth take these refugees. After all, humans claim to be a compassionate species. Let them prove it." Laughter echoed through the chamber. Wei understood what was happening. This was not charity. This was punishment. Earth had recently voted against the Assembly's decision to destroy a primitive civilization. Humans had argued that the young species deserved a chance to grow. The older powers had not liked being questioned by newcomers. "They carry the shadow plague," a delegate hissed. "There were serpentine creatures who valued nothing but profit. Any world that takes them risks infection. Earth's primitive medical technology cannot handle such a threat. We are essentially sentencing them to death." More laughter, more cruel amusement. Wei felt her hands tighten into fists. She looked around at these ancient, powerful beings. They had traveled the stars for. They had built wonders that humans could barely imagine. Yet here they sat, laughing at the suffering of 6 million innocent people, laughing at the idea of Earth being destroyed. She pressed the communication button to speak with Earth's government. The response came within minutes. Wei smiled when she read it. "Earth accepts," she said clearly. Her voice cut through the laughter like a knife. "Send them all. We will take every single refugee, every man, woman, and child." The chamber fell silent. The High Speaker's crystals flickered with confusion. "Ambassador, do you understand what you are agreeing to? The shadow plague has no cure. These refugees will bring death to your world." "We understand," Wei replied. "Send them anyway." The ships arrived 3 weeks later. 200 massive transport vessels entered Earth's solar system, carrying 6 million frightened, sick, and dying. Human ships flew out to meet them, not with weapons but with medical teams, food supplies, and warm blankets. Director Sarah Mitchell stood in the command center of the Global Refugee Response Team. Screens covered every wall, showing the incoming fleet and the status of preparations around the world. She had not slept in 4 days. "Status report," she called out. "Temporary housing is ready in 12 countries," her assistant reported. "Medical facilities are online in 30 locations. Food distribution centers are active in every major city that's receiving refugees." Sarah nodded. The entire planet had come together for this. Old enemies had put aside their differences. Nations that had not spoken in years were now sharing resources. When the Galactic Assembly had announced their cruel joke, humanity had responded not with despair but with determination. The first transport landed in Nevada, in the desert outside Las Vegas. Thousands of humans waited behind barriers, not to protest, but to welcome the newcomers. They held signs written in the language, simple messages like "Welcome home" and "You are safe now." The ship's door opened. A small child stepped out first. She was barely 3 feet tall, with pale blue skin covered in dark spots from the plague. Her forearms wrapped around herself in fear. She looked at the crowd of strange, two-armed creatures and started to cry. A young woman named Maria pushed past the barriers. Security tried to stop her, but she was too fast. She ran to the child and knelt down in front of her. The child flinched, expecting cruelty. Instead, Maria pulled a small stuffed bear from her bag. "For you," Maria said softly. "You are safe now. No one will hurt you here." The child took the bear with trembling hands. She looked up at Maria with her large black eyes. Then she threw all four arms around Maria's neck and held on like she would never let go. Across the world, similar scenes played out. Humans opened their homes to complete strangers from another planet. Families took in refugees, sharing their food and their lives. Teachers learned new languages overnight so they could communicate with children. Doctors worked around the clock to understand the shadow plague. Dr. James led the medical research team at Johns University. He had studied alien diseases for 20 years, but the shadow plague was unlike anything he had seen. It attacked the nervous system slowly, causing dark marks to spread across the body before eventually shutting down vital organs. The Galactic Assembly has been studying this plague for 200 years, his colleague, Doctor, told him. They gave up on finding a cure. "Then we will succeed where they failed," James replied. "Humanity has faced plagues before. We did not surrender then. We will not surrender now." Research teams across the planet shared data in real time. Scientists from every nation worked together without borders or politics. Within 3 months, they had mapped the entire genetic structure of the plague. Within 6 months, they had developed a treatment that stopped its spread. Within 1 year, they had created a complete cure. The news spread across the galaxy like fire. The impossible had happened. The primitive humans, the young species that had only just learned to travel between stars, had cured a plague that had defeated ancient civilizations. The High Speaker of the demanded a meeting with Ambassador Wei. This time, his crystals glowed pale white, a color that indicated shame. "How did you do it?" he asked. "Our scientists worked on this plague for 2 centuries. They had technology far beyond yours, resources you cannot imagine. How did humans succeed where we failed?" Wei thought carefully before answering. "Your scientists worked in competition," she said. "Each species wanted to claim credit for the cure. They guarded their research. They refused to share discoveries. When one came close, others would steal or sabotage their work. And humans? We shared everything," Wei said simply. "Every piece of data, every failed experiment, every small success. Scientists from nations that have been enemies for centuries worked side by side. We did not care who got credit. We only cared about saving lives." The High Speaker was silent for a long moment. "The refugees," he finally said. "What will happen to them now?" "They are no longer refugees," Wei replied. "They are citizens. We have offered them permanent homes on Earth. Most have accepted. Their children attend our schools. Their workers have joined our economy. Their artists have enriched our culture. They are part of us now." "You would give them citizenship, full rights. They are aliens." "They are people," Wei corrected. "Nothing more, nothing less, and people deserve compassion." The Galactic Assembly gathered again 6 months later. This time the atmosphere was different. The laughter was gone. Instead, there was respect and something that looked almost like fear. 12 species watched as the representative took her place at a new platform. Earth had sponsored their application for Assembly membership. For the first time in galactic history, a nearly extinct species had been saved, cured, and elevated to equal status within a single generation. The High Speaker addressed the chamber. His crystals glowed a soft gold, a color of deep respect. "Earth has taught us something today. We have traveled the stars for 10,000 years. We have built empires and conquered worlds. But somewhere along the way, we forgot what truly makes a civilization great." He turned to face Ambassador Wei directly. "It is not power. It is not technology, it is not territory or wealth, it is compassion, the willingness to help others even when there is no benefit, the courage to show kindness even when others expect cruelty. You sent 6 million refugees to Earth as a punishment. You expected us to fail. You hoped we would suffer. Instead, we gained 6 million new citizens, new friends, new family members. You gave us what you thought was a burden. We turned it into a gift. The representative stepped forward. Her name was, and she had been one of the first refugees to arrive on Earth. She had been dying from the plague when her ship landed. Now she stood tall and healthy, her blue skin clear of any marks. My people owe everything to humanity, said. When the galaxy abandoned us, Earth opened its arms. When our own bodies were killing us, human doctors worked night and day to save us. We were strangers. We were sick. We had nothing to offer, and still they helped us. She looked at the ancient species who sat on their floating platforms, beings who had considered themselves superior for thousands of years. I have lived among humans for 2 years now. I have seen their kindness. I have experienced their compassion. And I can tell you this truth, they are not the primitive species you think they are. They are the best of us. They are what we should all strive to be. The chamber was completely silent. No one laughed anymore. In the years that followed, everything changed. Other species began to approach Earth for help with problems they had given up on solving. Medical research partnerships formed across the galaxy. Cultural exchanges brought beings from dozens of worlds to visit Earth and learn about human philosophy. They never forgot what humanity had done for them. They became Earth's strongest allies, their most loyal friends. When other species threatened Earth, they stood beside them. When natural disasters struck human colonies, ships arrived with supplies before anyone else. Ambassador Wei retired eventually, but her words were carved into the entrance of the new Galactic Cooperation Center built on Earth's moon. They read simply, "Compassion is not weakness. It is the greatest strength any civilization can possess." The High Council had intended to destroy humanity with their cruel joke. Instead, they had revealed humanity's greatest power. Not their weapons, not their technology, but their endless capacity to care for others. Earth had proven something important that day. The galaxy had spent 10,000 years building empires through force and fear, but humans built something stronger through kindness and hope. And that made all the difference.